Rebecca Yates here. Hello, long time no see. I know it's been quite a long while since I've done a YouTube video for you. It's been about, how long? About 5 months since the last one, so it has been quite a little bit of a big gap for you, but I am back with a difference there. So, as you can obviously see. So, with the makeup tutorial look that I'm going to be doing for you is inspired by the film The Great Gatsby as well, and it's taken from the character which is played by Carey Mulligan, I think, anyway, so do excuse me if I get that wrong. So, inspired by her character Alice in the film as well, so I have no idea what the film is all about. I've never read the books, but all I do know, it's inspired, it's really sort of the 1920s kind of feel, which I absolutely love as well. And I love all of Baz's films, which is like Romeo and Juliet, Moulin Rouge, and Australia. Strictly Ballroom I haven't seen, but I want to see that. But I have seen an advert for this film which is in 3D and it does look absolutely amazing. So I'm going to grab my 3D glasses and see that in 3D. But anyway, I'm going to show you how to create this character look for you. So I hope you enjoy, and here we go. Okay, so what I've done first is just cleanse the skin and put a little bit of primer on ready for you as well. So the primer I've used is the Illamasqua Satin Primer, so that's all done. So what I'm going to do first is just conceal around underneath my eyes, because as you can see, they're a little bit blue and purple there. So I'm going to be using the Illamasqua Pure Pigment in Emerge, which is like an orangey kind of colour there. So I'll pop that underneath just to counteract the horrible blue that's underneath there. So go right underneath here. As you can see, it counteracting that out. A bit round there. Okay, so I'm going to be popping a little bit of a different concealer. This is NewCID's i-conceal, which is in Extra Light, which is my skin tone. These are very similar to actually the Touche Clay pens as well. It still works exactly the same, where it conceals, and it also has light reflecting pigments in this as well, so it bounces the light back off for you. So the difference in price, these are around about £19.50, and then the Touche Clay pens are around about £25. So if you wanted something like a different alternative, I mean, these are still very good as well. So I'm just going to apply that along the inner rims just to hide the purple. So I'm just patting it so it just blends in nicely underneath. Right, so moving on with foundation next. I'm going to be using Kryolan's Ultra Foundation, which are these palettes there. So I'm going to be using, I think, probably this one, and then along with the other one of theirs. I haven't got the refill for this palette, so I had to buy this one separate. So this is TV White. So I'm just going to blend those together and apply it on the skin. And just also with Kyrie's skin tone as well. She's quite fair anyway though. So this is perfect for my complexion there. With Kyrie's skin tone, she's quite naturally fair anyway though, which is great for this as well. But what I've done is added a little bit more warmth in there, so it's not too pale at the same time. But the nice thing about these foundations as well, they give more of a full coverage kind of finish as well. So they're very, very similar to like the MAC full coverage ones. I don't know if anybody have tried these at home already, but I tried them when I was working somewhere before, and they're great. They're really, really nice to use. They apply on great and they give great coverage, but I just found with them that every time that you sort of touched it with your skin or anything, you get like sort of fingerprint marks on there, so it's more like indentation from there, but it's not very nice when you try and touch your skin and then realise, oh gosh, you know, you've got a little bit of fingerprinting going on there, unless you want that look, but obviously we don't. But these ones are nice. They don't really give that type of feel as well as with the matte ones. They tend to make your skin quite greasy, which is not always good. So this is a better alternative. So that's that done ready. So as you can see, it's given it a lovely full coverage there, and it's hidden over all the redness that was on my face before, which I absolutely hate, so that's all gone there, but you can see it's given it a lovely full coverage there. I love using these, so I'd recommend to get those or the HD ones. So I'm going to be using the concealer again from NewCID, the extra light. So I'm going to be using it on top of my cheekbones just to add a little bit more of a highlight around there. So you can just grab the pen and just putting it on top of the bone, just right there, as you can see. And then I'm just going to use a fluffy brush just to pat that in and blend that. So as I mentioned before, these have got light reflecting pigments in these as well, so it'll bounce the light back off. So it'll really accentuate the top of the bone, which is great. But as with Kyrie's makeup, Carey's makeup, she's, or face shape, she's got more or less a little bit more width around there as well, so we'll just create that width there, so that way it concentrates more on the actual eye makeup for you as well. So it just accentuates that for you. And I'm going to pop some down the bridge of the nose as well, just to really accentuate it. So it just almost gives that cinematic kind of makeup look as well, so it just creates that nice depth. But obviously with her more or less makeup in the film, it's more very delicate and pretty, and not anything too harsh or too sort of strong, so it just adds the subtle touches in there for you as well. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the same concealer again, but I'm going to be using it in more of a medium dark, which is this one here. So reason that I'm using a darker one is more or less to create a little bit more contouring around the cheekbones again. So again, we don't want to make it too harsh or too dark, but this one is quite nice to use. So it's more or less popping it around where the cheekbone is. But if you can't find where it is, if you just do the fish trout pose, which is this one, obviously not holding it for too long because that's not a very attractive look anyway, but it just gives you more of a better idea where the actual bone is for you. So just go along. And I'd say stop around about that point there, because you don't want to sort of bring it too much forward where it looks a little bit not quite sort of natural, or it looks a little bit too much there. So I'd probably stop at that and then just grab a angle brush and go backwards and forwards there. And then you can start to see that the shading is coming in there now. And then most importantly, what I'm doing is just blending that upwards, so the cheekbones are really nice and high, so they're not sulking down, which is what you don't want. But you can also see the difference already there. But these are great to use for, not just for concealing, but also giving a little bit more structure in the face as well. Okay, so I'm just moving on to the eyebrows next. So, especially with her eyebrows in the film, they are defined, but they're a little bit more quite softer, so it's not too much arched or too much darker. So I'm just going to be creating something a little bit more lighter. So, as with both of us being quite fair, which is great, so we're just going to create a nice fair feel as well. So, what I'm going to be doing is just using the First Naked palette here, and I'm just going to be using this colour there in Naked, just to create that nice, lovely, natural brow. So you can see them, but that way they're not too much for you as well. So I'm just going to be using my Illamasqua angle brush, which is still one of my favourites. So just pop that underneath here. And then I'm just going to blend that, oops, excuse me, that was my products falling down. So just going to blend that a little bit more upwards as well. So it just brushes it nicely, and just going along the natural sort of hair growth. So as you can see, it starts to build up quite nicely. So I'd always say for the eyebrows, use something that's more of a matte kind of colour, so it just keeps it quite natural as well for you. And square that off a little bit, not too much. You can always wipe a little bit away where it's a little bit too out of the actual brow. And if you feel it's a little bit too heavy, you can always use like a little mascara one just to blend it through as well, if you want to. But I think I'll probably leave it as that because it's quite fair enough anyway. So just leave that and move on to the other. Right, so I'm just moving on to the eyeshadows next. So what I'm going to be doing is just using a mixture of the two palettes that I've got. So I'm going to be using a mixture of the Naked palette, which I've used a little bit for the eyebrows. And I'm also going to be using the Urban Decay Oz the Great and Powerful in the Glinda collection there. So as you can see, these are all the eyeshadows there. They are absolutely pretty. So what I'm going to do is just use the colour from that one and use this one which is in Illusion. So it's almost like a nudie kind of pigmenty colour there. So I mean, I could use something more like a nudie kind of eyeshadow, but it may look a little bit too flat on there, not anything a little bit more sort of special, a little bit more grander. So I'm going to be using this. So I'm going to apply that on the brow bone and also in the inner corners of the eyes as well. So as you can see, once it goes on, it gives that lovely, beautiful shimmer on the top as well. Really lovely. I think somebody's gardening next door. Just adding a little bit in the inner corners of the eyes as well. Okay, so just moving on to the smokiness of the eyes next. So what I'm going to be doing is just using the same colour as I have done before for the eyebrows. I'm just going to use the colour Naked and apply that all over the lid. Just taking a little bit there. So it's almost like a very soft, subtle kind of smoky eye look that she has in the film as well. So I don't know whether you've seen in the pictures, it's very soft but very nicely defined. So apply that over. And then what I'm going to do is just blend a little bit of that past the crease of the eye. So it just gives the eyes a little bit more of an open feel as well. So as you can see, the taupiness of this is absolutely lovely. Okay, so what I'm going to do is add a little bit more of a darker brown there. Not too dark, but I'm going to be using this one there, which is Bunk, which is this one. So what I'm going to do is just place that on the outside of the eye going in, so that way it just blends it nicely, but it just gives a little bit more definition in there. So as you can see, it starts to give a little bit more of definition there, but again, not making it too harsh at the same time. And what I'm going to do also is just place some a little bit along the lash line, just slightly. So you can just pass it along, just gently there. Okay, so I'm just using the eyeshadows again, but I'm going to place them underneath the eyes as well, so it just gives a little bit more definition around there. So I'm just going to go in with Naked first, just going along here, just creating it nice and softly, but at the same time I don't want to sort of distort too much around the little highlighter just there, so it just creates that softness around. And now I'm going to apply the Bunk underneath there, just around about the, just near the inner corners, just towards the centre slightly, so it's not too much. As you can see, it doesn't distort the actual under base of the eye, but it just blends in with the other colours. It just creates that softness around there, so that way it's not too harsh. Right, so what I'm doing is just adding a little bit of an extra colour near where the highlight is, so I always keep changing my mind in between, so I'm just going to add a little bit. So from the Oz Glinda palette, I'm going to be using Aqua, so I'm going to be using this colour there. So as you can see, both of them are quite iridescent, but that one's a little bit more purple, and that one's a little bit more of a rose there, so I'm just going to use that ready. So what I'm going to do is just place it just a little bit around there, just along the line of the brows, so it just really highlights the actual foundation base of that. So it gives that instant glow. As you can see, it's looking pretty. And then popping some a little bit more around the tear ducts of there. It just gives that nice lovely finish off here. Okay, so now that's the eyeshadows done, so what I'm going to do is just place a little bit of eyeliner in the waterline of the eye. So I'm just going to be using this medium pencil in Hex, which is more or less a nudie kind of colour from Illamasqua. So I'm just going to apply that on the inner rims there. So it just brightens up the eyes, so it still keeps it natural, but it just takes a little bit of the redness out of there as well, so it doesn't look too puffy, which is what we don't want. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of an eyeliner at the top, not too much. So what I'm going to do is just use this gel eyeliner in from MAC, which is the Fulidline in Dipdown. So it's almost like a brownie colour. And I may add a little bit of the black in there as well, so a little bit of the Blacktrack. I forgot what it was, I should really know. So that way it just defines it a little bit, but then at the same time it doesn't sort of distort too much of it as well. So I'm just going to go over gently with that. And what I'm going to do as well is just blend that also, so it just creates a soft kind of eyeliner, so it's not too much. But get my hands mixed up there, which is not good. Right then, so what I'm going to do is just apply some eyelashes on ready for you. So I'm just going to be using these thin lashes here, which is from Salon System, and they're 020, so I don't know if you can see, they're a little bit more finer and nice as well. So I've not tried these, so I'm hoping that these will be really lovely. So a little bit more finer there, so that way it just creates that subtle kind of natural kind of eyelash instead of anything too thick or a little bit too bulky. So I've just applied a little bit of the glue on, and just going to apply them on there ready. I quite like these ranges of eyelashes because they've got a nice thin spinal band around them, so it's just easier just to apply. So now the eyelashes are nice and secure and dry, and what I've done is just put a little bit more of the Dipdown eyeliner at the top, so that way it just hides the spine of the eyelashes. So I'm just going to go in with a mascara, so I'm just going to be using the mascara in 17 Dolled Up, which is this one here. So with this one, it's got more or less of a plastic type of one there. It's very much like what number 7 have some of the time, so it's a little bit more curved round. But it just gives it a little bit more of a lighter kind of mascara feel as well, so it doesn't make it too clumped up. So I'll pop that over ready. So as you can see now with the mascara going on, you can start to see the eyelashes coming out as well, and I'm quite impressed with these eyelashes actually, really nice. So when I got them in the shop, I wasn't so sure because I thought they didn't really look quite like anything, but no, I'm pleasantly surprised. Good. And I'm just going to pop a little bit of the mascara at the bottom, just slightly, a little bit, not too much, just almost like a little gentle stroke of it. Okay, so that's the eye makeup done, so brilliant. So now what I'm going to do is apply a little bit of a soft blush on the cheeks as well. So with her complexion, again, it's still quite fair, but she does have a little bit of a rosy kind of tinge, not too much, but almost like a natural flush. So what I'm going to be doing is just using a cream base blusher, which is our Cremeblend one, which is a MAC one, which is called Ladyblush. So I'm just going to apply a little bit just on the apples of the cheeks. Ready? So big smiles. I'm just popping it on there, and a little bit up on the along the top as well, so it just gives that really lovely English rose kind of glow, which is what she is. So I think she's an absolutely stunning girl. She really is. If you do feel that the blush is a little bit too much, what you can do is you can always add a little bit more of the foundation in there. So I'm just going to go in with the foundation brush just to settle it down a little bit more so it's not too rougey. But that way, if you're not too comfortable with wearing too much blusher, then at least you can do that as well. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the lips next. So what I'm going to do first is just line them ready. So I'm just going to be using the Rimmel pencil, lip pencil out, which is in 049, which is more like a natural one. They don't do this anymore though, so if you are looking for something a little bit more of a natural feel, just exactly the same colour, MAC have got a lip pencil which is in Subscribe, and it's exactly the same colour as this one, so but I'm just using this one up. So just apply that round. So we're just going to go around the natural lip shape there, so we're not doing anything too much like the sort of Cupid bow kind of lip, but just more or less keeping it quite natural. It's very similar to like Carey's kind of shape. Unfortunately my lips are not that brilliant, but I will try my best. And I'm going to colour that into the lips as well. Right then, so I'm just going to apply on the lip colour next as well. So the colour that I'm going to be using is this one here, which is Chatterbox from MAC. So it's more or less like a natural kind of pinky colour there, so it's not too imposing, but it just adds that little bit of a natural kind of flush to the lips as well. Let's apply that over. Just going over where I've lined the lips as well. Ooh, that's not me. Right, now to finish off the lips, I'm just going to be using a little bit of a lip gloss as well, because her lips are a little bit more dewy. So I'm just going to be using the BYS Lipgloss, which is almost like a raspberry pinky colour there, which is this one. But you can use any kind of colour, natural pink, if you want to as well. So any kind of lip gloss will be fine, or you can use like a clear lip gloss if you want to, but I'm just going to add a little bit of the pink so it just accentuates the colour of the lips also. Just apply that over. Right then, and last but not least, to complete the look, I'm just going to create like a little beauty spot that she has just around about this side there. So I'm just going to be using the Illamasqua Precision Ink in Ibas. I do apologise, Illamasqua fans. I should really remember or know that name well, but it will be right down at the bottom there so you know exactly what the colour is as well. So I'm just going to apply that there. And the thing I didn't realise about this liner as well, that it's actually waterproof, which was brilliant. So I was wearing it the other day because I'd run out of eyeliner. And I thought, why can't I not get this off? But it is brilliant though, so for it lasting longer, which it did, it's good to use. So I'm just going to apply that over ready. So you need a steady good hand for this one as well. Ooh. I think that's steady, I hope so. But at least I can just more or less go over there as well. The thing I like about this, it's got that precision point as well, so you can see. is enough there, so I don't want to make it too large. And there we go. So that is the complete makeup look there for you, but it's not actually really all complete, so I'm just going to add a few little pieces just to finish off, so I'll be right back. And there we have it, the complete look for you. So as you can see, I've added all the accessories. I've gone completely mad in my wardrobe looking through, but my most favourite one is this little diamante clip that she wears as well, which looks absolutely stunning. So I'll no doubt be wearing that wherever I go now. So that is it for you. I hope you enjoyed watching this makeup tutorial for you. And what I'm going to be doing is creating a few more characters from the film The Great Gatsby for you. So stay tuned and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.